What's up, everybody? This is Pac-Man 1987. I'm playing some Kerbal again tonight. In my sandbox, I'm not in my usual flag tour save, so I'm just gonna play around with some stuff tonight. I'm gonna start doing the flag tour again, just deciding where I want to go first. But I wanted to play around with a couple of things that I haven't done in a while, just to refresh myself. So we're gonna play around with some slingshot orbits. Maybe play around with some ion engines. I haven't used those in a while. And maybe the nukes too. Just reacquaint myself with the low thrust engines handling. I had a couple of ideas. Just some stuff I want to play with. Riff a little bit, you know. So let's get to it. I want to play around with trajectories flying around the moon. We'll need a little probe for that. Let's whip something up real fast. Doesn't have to be fancy at all. We can give it one of these little guys, probably. How much does that one weigh? What does that one have? Does that have everything? This thing's pretty solid. That does everything. Yeah. We'll give it that. Decent little vehicle. Let's see. It's got pretty good reaction wheels, so we don't really need that. Let's give it... Where are we at? Engine do I want to use? Probably just a spark. They're always good. I just need something that can fly. What are you gonna do for me? That's pretty darn solid. Definitely aren't gonna have any problems there. I mean, good grief. Maybe give it a little extra fuel just so it's completely overpowered. How much does that carry? 27, 33, 22. Oh, one of those would occupy the same amount of space. 2,700 meters per second delta V. I would say that's sufficient for testing in orbit. This already has good, yeah, really good electric charge too. Let's give it... Give it some little solar panels of some sort. Why not a Gigantor? But pass on that. Those look extended. That's a pretty cool looking little probe. Give it an antenna too. Which one is which? That is... These are just the receivers, aren't they? Yeah. Put one of those on there, make it look cool. Does it need to look like that? No. Is it cool? Yeah. Don't think I really need to give this thing anything else. All it needs to do is go into space and perform maneuvers. You know, though, I could give it some RCS for fine-tuned shenanigans, but this engine is pretty low power, so it should be good enough, I would say. Where's my... Yeah, it's pretty good. We will call this Orbital Test Craft. Save that bad boy. And let's slap it into orbit. So, where are we at here as far as all of this? We want to get this into space. Get a decoupler. Coupler, does that mean? No. I want to do a thrust plate. Darn, I can never find the darn thrust plate. Structural tubes. Cargo bays. Goodness name, did they stash those? Coupler. It's so weird. I never I'm just missing them entirely. That's what I'm doing. A little tiny one. Do we even have a little tiny one of those? We don't. That's okay. Fine. Not a big deal. I just need a little engine. Shouldn't take too much to get this into orbit. It's very lightweight. Let's give it a payload pairing at least. There we go. Do clamshell because it always looks cooler. A quadruple clamshell, that'll look really cool. That looks kind of neat. Alright, so let's see. Where are we at as far as performance here? One of these can gimbal. That one. I doubt this is enough. It's not too far off. Maybe we can give it just a little more gas. Get it into space with just a little thing. Yeah, we won't have enough. Well, we might have enough thrust to weight ratio. I mean, that should be enough to get it into space, but I'll give it a little more gas than that. That should do it. Let's see, just a little aerodynamic winglet. There we go. That ought to get us into something resembling an orbit. I don't know how good a one it's going to be, but it'll be an orbit. Good. That looks good. Launch it. Thing shouldn't be too fast. Not bad. Hey, how's it going? Ooh, this thing climbs slow. Yep, just kind of goofing off tonight, trying some things. Practicing a little bit for interplanetary shenanigans. I don't know if this thing's gonna get into orbit. It said it could, but kind of disbelieving it now. Come on. Yeah, man. I don't know, it might. If not, we'll just stick it on something bigger. So far, so good, though. Yeah, I think the flight engineer lied to me. I do not see this having the oomph to get this into orbit, but we'll see. Might be just a barely kind of thing. Well, I mean, that's technically orbit. Good. How much delta V does this have left? Just shy of what we need. Should be able to make it, though. About 50 seconds from the burn. Probably started a little early, because it's going to probably need to use the second stage for part of it. So I get this thing into an actual honest-to-God orbit. A little low. About 10 seconds from the burn. You'll start it now. Did that take out all my solar panels? It totally did, didn't it? Well, that's lame. That's okay. We don't need this. Yeah, we're gonna need to stage. I'll take it. Hey, how's it going? Well, the stupid fairing broke my solar panels, so we don't have those anymore. That's okay, though. Again, we don't really need them. At least we shouldn't. Not much. I don't remember if this thing generates electricity or not, but again, that doesn't really matter too much. I got 1,000 in battery. So, we're in a low orbit. Let's quick save this thing. So I'm going to play around with some stuff. I'm going to play around with some moon slingshots. I haven't done that in a while. I did kind of do that for some things, like getting into polar orbits. It's really easy to sling yourself around the moon to do that. But, I'm going to do a little testing here. So, let's say we want to go to the moon. Where are we at here? At my target. Right about here, maybe? Yeah, not a very good one. I need to be closer. Probably like over here somewhere. There we go. Alright, what do we got? That's not terrible. You'll notice If I get this lined up properly. Get pretty far out. Get a nice boost off the moon. Change that ever so slightly though. Just a little bit later. Now, the better we time this, looks like we actually get a, is that a return? I think it's a return. That's interesting. We're getting a second spin around on that by the looks of it. Right there. What's that doing? Wow. Did that sling us out far enough? Good grief. That shouldn't even be... That should be in like orbit. That's quite the trajectory. That's pretty wild. Interesting. Let's try that. I want to see what this does. We have a quick save. So we can do whatever we want with it. But that is quite the boost. It's only 881 meters per second at delta V though. So that's like a really good slingshot. Let's tweak this just a hair. We're not quite so darn inclined. Kind of lost my my encounter though. There we go. What does that get me? Interesting. Back around? I think it does. There's that one. Okay, we're gonna do that trajectory. I want to see what the results are. So that's our trajectory. Line up on the node. About 16 minutes from that burn. Warp to it. Keep an eye on my electric charge. About 2 minutes 51 seconds out. Alright, time to get set up. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm gonna start throttling up now. Should be pretty quick. Course good. Hello! Alright. Rounding off this burn. And there we go. Good enough for me. Let's see how I did. So, put me on an encounter with the moon. I'm going to want to adjust that. But you can see, all I did was give it enough to get me to the moon, which normally, if I was doing some trajectories, would really just be like maybe out to here a little bit. Like it'd be part way to Minmus. But I've got the right trajectory to get a nice big kick off the moon. It's actually chucking me out of Kerbin's sphere of influence. Let's see real quick. Should be able to tweak this a little bit and get that encounter back. It actually comes back around. Yeah, it's going down slowly. I actually need to turn that off. Thank you for mentioning that to me. Hey, there we go. That's what I wanted. What's my total acceleration here? Yeah, I don't think I need that much acceleration. Goodness gracious. Let's tune that down just a hair. There we go. That'll work. Alright. Let's see. That maneuvers in 18 minutes. Let's go ahead and check it out. What I want to see is this return trajectory and what we can do with it. Yeah, I managed to break my my solar panels on the way out. Not really a big deal. It's got 1,000 electric charge, so it'll be more than capable of doing quite a bit, especially with hibernate. Alright, so we are about 2 minutes 51 seconds from that maneuver node. Let's speed up a bit. This burn should take about 4 seconds. I'm going to do it at half thrust, so it'll only take about 8 seconds. Pretty precise. Getting there. Alright, here we go. Very slight burn. Still doesn't have that return, but we'll see. I want to see what it says once we've gotten to the sphere of influence. I could even get closer to the moon and get an even bigger kick, but as you can see, I'm already getting a huge kick. We'll see where we end up. Alright. Let's turn that off. Hibernate this bad boy so we don't lose any more power. Let's take a ride to the moon. We're going around the leading edge of the moon, which is why we're getting the kick. If we were going around the... Or we're going around the trailing edge, rather, behind it in its trajectory. That's why we're getting a kick. If we went around the leading edge of it, ahead of it in its trajectory, it would actually get deceleration. See, come on. Any day now. There we go. In the moon's sphere of influence now. Let's see, moon escape there. Urban escape in 12 days. See what I can do here real quick. I'm gonna unhibernate this. See what we can do adjusting this ever so slightly. Look at that. There we go. That has us coming back. I'll take that. Let's see what the results of this are. Kind of acting like we're staying in the sphere of influence now. But then it has us going out there. We'll see. Let's go to the sphere of influence. Turn that off. Hibernate again. Whoa, that was quick. Alright, so we're scooting past the moon. Get to the sphere of influence change. Ah, I see what it's doing. So this is actually, this trajectory is now, it's kicking us out ahead of the planet and then back down. We're actually diving past the planet. Is that another moon encounter? Where are these trajectories sending me? I am doing very good. How are you? Come on, thing. Alright. Cool. So, where are we going here? Wow, this is a weird trajectory. So we're swinging past the moon again. Oh, I see what we're doing. So this trajectory is really cool. So I'm swinging up past the moon, got a huge kick, going out really far, coming back, swing past it again, and I'm going to get a kick in a retrograde of Kerbin's orbit. It's actually going to lower my orbit inwards a bit. So this could actually be a thing where we could lower our orbit quite a bit at that next encounter. We should probably play around with that. See what we can do with it. Go out here. Going pretty far out. Just a ways. Where did we actually end up? We lost that encounter somehow. This isn't an exact art, but we're now in an orbit. So we kicked off the moon. We're actually in a slightly higher orbit than Kerbin. Let's see what we can do with that. Can we get an encounter again? Get back into Kerbin's orbit with minimal thrust. Let's set the moon as our target again. Where's the closest approach to it? Let's see. What can we do with this? We probably have to decrease our orbit a bit. Interesting. What else could we do? Oh, have some kind of close approach. It's a fairly expensive maneuver. But maybe what we need. There we go. There's something. What do we get? It has us on a Kerbal periapse. I think that actually, yeah, that recaptures us. Just slinging past the moon a bit. Didn't even get us that close. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty good. You could adjust that even further. That actually, that has us hitting the planet. Let's not do that one. There we go. Look at that. 610 meters per second. Yes, this is sandbox mode. So, that burn is in 8 days. Quick save that. So we used the kick to exit the sphere of influence with minimal thrust. We only had to pay as much delta V as it cost to get to the moon. Kicked us out of orbit. Now we're going to use less than the cost of getting to the moon to get back into orbit around Kerbal. See what we can do with that. Pretty long burn. I gotta throttle the engine back up first. Oh yeah, I gotta turn off hibernation. Yeah, it's a pretty short one. Alright. Go to the next burn. We should be able to see Kerbal actually still. You get a, what is that? There's Minmus, there's Kerbal. Can't really see it with the sun glare. We're pretty far out from it. About 3 minutes from our node. Let's turn off hibernation. Point to the node. Minute and a half out. Alright, I'll go ahead and set up. Get ready to do this. 22, 21, 20. Cool. All right, let's see what our results are. Pretty close. That's definitely a capture. How far out is that encounter anyway? 63 days. Not very far. Let's head to the next sphere of influence change. We will see the results. Urban should be somewhere. Where are we at? There we go. We're approaching Kerbin. We're just slightly beyond the orbit of my deep space relay satellite, which is like 50 meters from exiting the sphere of influence. There we go. And looky here, we don't have to do anything else. We're already in a capture orbit. Can't see anything right now. I think they're in the dark. Or we're looking at the dark sides of them, rather. The moon is really close by. But that's not really what we're paying attention to right now. And again, what we're doing here, we're passing the leading edge of the moon, and that is reducing our orbit. Here we are. We are in orbit around the moon right now. We could probably get that even closer. We could make that a re-entry if we wanted to. But the point is, I was able to use the moon to sling myself out of orbit for the cost of just getting there. And I'm now able to use the moon to sling myself back into orbit for less than the cost of getting there, by quite a bit. You can use that to reduce the cost of returns to Kerbin. If you need to get back in orbit, you can use it to get yourself to other planets. You can do that off of Ike. When you get to Duna, you can use it to actually enter the Duna system off of Ike, and you can use Ike to launch yourself out. You can do it to Jool too. I believe Tylo can do that pretty easily. It has a lot of mass. That's pretty cool. I wonder if we could, what would happen if we played with this a bit? Say at the periaps. Let's mess with it. Well, if Minmus was in the right place, we could do a lot of things. If I'd gotten even closer to the moon, this would be even better. Look at that. And then I can sling off the moon, off Kerbin, get in further towards Eve. Or if we could get any kind of Eve trajectory going here. Let's see. I don't have the feel for it, but just as an example. Not entirely implausible. I'm not doing it correctly, but it's not implausible. That darn moon app. Should most surely be seeing it. Let's get to the sending node here. So we'll warp to about here. But yeah, we're back at Kerbal orbit. Fairly cheap. I think some kind of glitches occurred. Oh yeah. Yeah, some kind of glitch is definitely happening here. The planet should be right there. That's really funny. Go to the tracking station. I think I lost the planet. That's really weird. That's okay. We're gonna quit to the main menu. Reload the save. Managed to disappear the planet. That's pretty impressive, actually. I'll play around with some ion engine trajectories. Let's see here. Whip up an ion engine probe. And we're gonna want it to be really light. But we want it to have everything, so... That's pretty good. probe. How big are those engines anyway? Where are they at? They're pretty little. Needs to be light. Things have to be small. That would be the xenon container for that size, but I have a feeling way too big. Try it though. Yeah, there you are. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of Delta V. Goodness gracious. We don't need that much xenon though. A little battery. I need like a structural component here. This thing's just too small for its own good. Those weigh. They weigh a lot. I'm not a fan. Just put one of these little guys on there. A little better. A lot of Delta V. Still kind of a reasonable thrust to weight ratio actually for what it is, but we're gonna ruin that with solar panels. These things weigh empty. Different pod. You have. Electricity does that thing use? 8.74 a second. Let's definitely shoot for more than that from our solar panels. 0.7, 7 a second. Two of those bad boys ought to do the trick. Concentrating panels are really good from the near future solar mod. Probably want more battery than that. But we'll work with it. Doesn't look like much, but it's a probe. Anything else we want to stick on there? Probably not. I'm gonna keep this thing light. We'll give it an antenna. Yeah. Communication. 54 megameters. That's not bad. One goes out to gigameters. No. There we go. Test ion prober. Oh no. Oh no. Alright. Let's put a coupler on there. Bet you we can do about the same thing we did before, if not even easier. There we go. We'll throw aerodynamic payload bay on there. Clamshell deploy. Hope that doesn't break the solar panels because we kind of need those. Alright, let's stick this thing in orbit. We're going to need to loft this thing pretty high to really play with it. We need to play with, well, let's see what we can do with it. Super lightweight, so we probably shouldn't have any problems getting it up there. Yeah, we're not gonna have any issues with that. That a little more fuel. Probably like that. Roll authority. That should be pretty solid. Excellent. Not bad at all. I'll throw these bad boys on there. Launch this thing. Good, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. Throw it up there. See what we can do with it. I haven't messed with ion engines too much. So I kind of just want to play around with it a bit, see what I can do with it. Away we go. So far, so good. Keep my thrust under 2 Gs, and I think we'll be fine. Okay. Good enough for me. About a minute out from my orbital insertion. More than enough delta V. Should be good. Kind of got to just ride it out because we're still in the atmosphere quite a bit. About 34 seconds to the burn. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire that up. Close to being in orbit. There we go. That's an orbit. I'll take it. Alright, so really need this to not break my solar panels. And it broke my solar panels. That's great. Let's see if we can try that again. Maybe we can tweak those. There's gotta be a way. Not much use to me if it doesn't have solar panels. Hey, how's it going? Alright, we're gonna revert this to... We're not going to revert this. We're gonna spin it around retro and we're gonna deorbit it because I don't need it. We gotta tweak this a little bit so we can get it into orbit with solar panels. There we go. Alright, back to the Space Center. Just playing around with some things tonight. Was messing around with slingshot trajectories around the moon. Kind of prepping myself for some interplanetary adventures. Haven't done that in a while, so wanted to feel some things out again. And I'm trying to get a darn probe into orbit with some solar panels still attached to it. It's proving to be extremely difficult. Where's that thing? There we go. What can we do to make you better? How about... How about this? Yeah, this'll work. Structural stuff under that. That should help a bit. I'm just gonna make this huge. That's what I'm gonna do. Clearly needs to be really big. There we go. I'm gonna really reduce the ejection force too. See if that'll go into orbit and not break my solar panels. It would be nice. And away we go. looking good so far. I honestly don't know. I never really used the ejection force setting, so I'm just kind of winging it. Bring that up a little bit. We'll find out. Come on, rocket. Whoa, come back. There we go. So far, so good. All right. Get us into space more or less. I sure hope so. Pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know. We're gonna find out. I'm hoping that I've put enough distance between the darn thing and these bearings that it won't cause a problem, but we'll see. And we'll use physical time warp a bit. The thing is just so darn fragile, it's kind of a problem. If it doesn't work again, I'm just going to put it in orbit. That's what we'll do. I want to test it. So far, so good. All right. A shot. Point prograde. Nope. You're right. It is way worse. That's just terrible. Like, come on. What a piece of junk. Okay. Going to the vehicle assembly. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Alright, we're cheating. I want to test the darn ion probe and engine, and by God, I'm going to do it. Or an ion engine in space, and by God, I'm going to do it. Cheating time. Yeah, we did learn things. Things were learned. Alright. Where are you at? Orbit. Kerbal. That should be 670. And we'll make it 675. I actually don't know if this is setting it off of... Doesn't really matter. Let's find out. Okay. Well, there we go. We're in an orbit. How exciting. That was... See real quick. It's pretty short. That rocket... Looks like... Where are you at? $16.8 meters tall. A little shy of 17, and that... Yeah, that does count the whole rocket and doesn't care about these. So yeah, it was pretty short. Not very big. Not a very big probe, though. Doesn't take too much to get these little ultralight things into orbit. Alright. Got an ion probe. It's in orbit. It's in low orbit. I'll let the hibernate and warp. Useful tool. Activating the engine. So, I don't use ion engines much. And when I do, it's for like really simple stuff, like some small probes around the moon. So I kind of just want to play around with them and see what I get them to do. Like I'm gonna warp there. I'm just gonna do a burn the whole way around the light side of the planet. Or at least a good bit of it. I just want to see what I get. Because that thing actually has a decent amount of acceleration available. Not terrible. Alright, let's see what we can do. Accelerating at a whopping 3.33 meters per second. Anything exciting happening? That actually accomplishes quite a bit. This thing can accelerate really fast. Most ion probes don't have this kind of acceleration. But that's okay. Good grief. Not bad. I mean, it's definitely not a speed demon. Significant for what it is. Ion probes in real life is pretty much what they do. You just burn. Burn and burn and burn and burn. The Dawn probe, which is unfortunately nearing the end of its mission, which is really sad because it's been finding so much cool stuff. That's the first really, you know, heavily used ion probe. It's really the test bed for the whole darn thing as far as using it for a real space probe. And man, did it work. This would be very appropriate for launching like a satellite into a geostationary. I mean, it would take time to do it, but not terrible. What I'm interested in is at what point during this really, really long burn does my periapse and apoapse start shifting around? I'm guessing it'll be as we get out here. We're already kind of moving a bit. But I bet you I could compensate for that. It's really not taking very long to get it out to a reasonable altitude. We've already, right there, you've hit a geostationary. So you could very easily put a geostationary satellite up with this thing. You just have to do the right burn at the right time. Really starting to pick up steam, too. I could probably pretty easily compensate. What'll happen if I do this? Doesn't affect too much. Look at that. We're already sweeping past the moon here. Oh yeah, I was really close. It was 16.8, so just a hair short of it. A good size for launching really little stuff like this. Man, look at this thing go. I'm impressed. Well, we've achieved an ejection burn. We're still in a... What's nice about this is since it's got such low thrust, we're still in a pretty low orbit. We're taking advantage of the Oberth effect for a bit longer. I mean, there we go. We just crossed Eve. Tricky bit is it's hard to plot one of these because you have to burn for so long. Such light thrust. So, I mean, you could probably rough plotting one, but you'd have to really eyeball it to get it to work right. Let's see, where are we at in our orbit now? About halfway. Let's retrograde it and see what we can do with it. Can we adjust this trajectory quite a bit? See. I mean, you can make some pretty significant adjustments to that. You know what I really want to do? I want to see just how far inward we can get with this, because the heck with it, we can quick save load and try again. There we go. Gotta keep it rolled level for the power. Yeah, see the periapse comes down really slow after Eve orbit. How much it costs to do transfers. Interesting. This would be really suitable for a interplanetary probe if I knew exactly where I was going. Let's try something. Let's try this. What's a usual? Try to get a usual moon encounter. We'll angle that a little further around. About there. See if I can just kind of like wing it, get to the moon. That's pretty good. So it's actually saying, I don't know if I believe it. It says I should be able to pull off that burn in 4 minutes and 16.3 seconds to get to the moon with this ion probe. Probably because it has such good acceleration. Let's give it a shot. I'm not sure that I believe that. Probably need to put some weight on this thing. Get a probe up that actually can do some work. Here's the tricky bit. So, I don't know if this will clear the planet. It could be a situation where I'm burning down towards the planet, which that really doesn't work with low thrust engines. Kind of a minimum thrust you need to hit. Play around with it. We might have to do prograde for a while. So we clear the planet a bit. See how we're doing now. That's a little better. Still gonna drop my periaps, but that's not necessarily a problem since it's is it behind me right now? No, it's still ahead of me. We gotta get it so that we clear that periaps. There we go. We hit the break-even point. We are on our way to the moon with an ion engine. Not bad. This little guy is totally capable of getting there. So if I need something really light to the moon, and I want to be ultra efficient about it, or send it elsewhere later, or back and forth over and over and over again, I could do that with this. That's good to know. We could do some stuff with that. I want to check, though, one last thing. Don't really need to continue that. Let's go to the tracking station. I'm gonna do... I want to see something real quick for my own curiosity. I have a nerve. That's pretty close to a 1-to-1 thrust to weight ratio for this bad boy. I'm thinking about doing a clustered nerve engine array, where it's basically just a bunch of these. Good old-fashioned asparagus stage style thing. Let's see. Or essentially, as you drop them as you go, it should keep the thrust relatively the same, I think, if they all have more or less the same thrust to weight. See. I don't know if that's really the case or not. They probably also need radiator fins, if I had to guess. Where are those darn things at? Thermal. On a second. This is relevant to interplanetary stuff for sure. Control probe on there. See, where are we at? Batteries, 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 batteries. More nerve engines on there. Yeah. It'll work. The cluster, that's good. It'll definitely need some thermal control. Maybe like a medium one on each. I don't know how much heat these things generate. Something tells me I'm gonna need mediums. What do those look like when they're extended? Okay. Maybe, maybe not. How much does that do? Okay, okay. That fueling stuff. Alright, so which ones are the first ones to go? Two side ones. This is like classic asparagus staging. I haven't done this in a while. A little bit different, but not too much. Exactly give me a lot in the Delta V realm, but that's okay. Those use 0.1 a second. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm gonna hack this one in orbit too, because I just want to see how it behaves. There we go. They're cool looking. Alright, let's just see what it does. Pretty good so far. How are these doing? Hey, this thing's cooling really well. What's the thrust to weight on this bad boy? Not terrible. far so good. I just want to make sure it actually gets to the end and doesn't explode itself. They were coming up on burnout on the two that go out first. Oh, that's right, I didn't even need the oxidizer. Now, why aren't these feeding fuel? That's interesting. I must not have staged it properly. So they're definitely making it all the way. Tell you what, let's retest this. I forgot to dump all the liquid fuel, and also then I can figure out what the heck these are doing. Alright, so I am a fuel line. Did they make it so I can't do this anymore? Is that what they did? That should feed fuel into that central engine the whole time. Really weird. And those. And those, that'll be a little easier. And we can get rid of the oxidizer in all of these, and we should have an absolutely silly amount of thrust. And delta V. Not too shabby. Alright, we're gonna dump this back into orbit real quick. There we go. And prograde hold, burn. There may be some changes to the way it does this. It's been a long time since I built an actual honest-to-God asparagus staged anything. So they may have changed it. Seems to be working right now. Oh. Let's see. I don't know what these fuel flow priority things do. That's interesting. That should be... see what that does. Goodbye. You have to play with that float priority, which I hadn't really paid any attention to yet. I seem to have stabilized it though. Interesting. Well, they're definitely not overheating, so that's good. I don't even know if they need these medium ones. Looks like they're doing work. Ooh, that's getting hot. Look at those heating up. That looks really cool. There we go, we're getting some heat. About to dump those. Not bad. Not big changes in thrust to weight ratio, so that's good. The radiators are doing their job. Not bad at all. How's the battery on it doing? Oh, it's still great, because they generate electricity, so we're good there. I could probably get away with just smalls on most of them too. What's my trajectory looking like right now? Wow, look at that. That's almost straight. Which I could use this to do a 1G constant burn to the moon. Okay, So that made it all the way to the end of the burn without blowing itself up. Not bad. What was my final results? Pretty darn good, actually. Look at that. That's a pretty darn close, close solar approach there. Man. We're gonna ride that out. I want to see that. Are we doing scooching past the moon? I think so. By scooching, I mean we should be screaming past the moon at this velocity. Yeah, that's one time, and you can actually see how quickly we're moving past it. Man, my relative speed here. Woo! Look at that. 5.8 clicks a second vertical speed. Almost 6.5 kilometers a second orbital speed. That's pretty fast. Exit the sphere of influence. I want to see if I can warp to that periapse around the sun. I want to see just how close that is. So that might be a really long trip. Alright. Solar orbit. Go on a little solar adventure here. Thing might blow itself up getting that close to the star. I don't know. I don't think I'm anywhere near close enough yet, even at that altitude, to wow, look at that. Yeah, we're pretty close. Jeez. That was impressive. That vehicle went places. That'd be a good way to deploy a ComSat in low solar orbit. Be kind of cool. I think we're still far enough out that it's not really causing many big problems, though, so that's good. Very cool. So, I'm wondering, back to the quick save before I started that, could I pull off a... Ah, that's a very old quick save. Okay. Space Center. I wonder if I could do a constant 1G. Go back in space real quick. I just want to see. That had some oomph once it got going. Flap it back into orbit. What's its initial thrust to weight? It's 1.41 initial. That's pretty solid. Fire it up real quick. Get to a point in the orbit where we're kind of just foresight at the moon. We're a little ahead of it. See what we can accomplish. Might have went too far there. We'll see. Fire it up. There we go. It's about 1G. Oh yeah, we need to change those fuel priorities. There we go. I don't know. So I'm attempting to do a 1G continuous burn. But I don't know anything about doing that, so I'm just kind of winging it, seeing where I end up. Really, ideally, if you were going to do 1G continuous burns, you would burn halfway there, just flip around and burn the other half, but plotting a course like that pretty much requires a computer. Where is that? We're actually not quite pulling 1G. There we go. That's 1G. Might be able to get a really close flyby. Let's see. So I think if we had started... We were started like right about here. If we had started like somewhere over here, I think we'd be pointing at the moon right now. Yeah, because now we're just doing a straight line thing. So that is a... It's a thing you kind of have to aim properly. We're not gonna get that way, but we might get it. Pointing our nose a little different. I mean, we started it right about here, and we were basically going straight. So let's go around one. Try to point it at the moon. Pull a G the whole time. probably want to point... Well, let's just see if we can fly past the moon with a 1G. So we want to probably start our burn somewhere like right here. Maybe. Like right here. See what we get. I'm eyeballing it. Did I run out of electricity? I did. Well, we'll try that again another night. I'm kind of out of time at the moment. We're going to play with this some more. I didn't expect this thing to perform as well as it does. I might be able to do some silliness with it. We'll see. That being said, for now, I'm going to have to go. Might be doing some tomorrow, though. We'll see. If not this, maybe something else. Either way, I hope you've been enjoying. I've been enjoying just messing around tonight, not really trying to accomplish much. I figured a few things out that are going to be helpful once I start doing the rest of my interplanetary stuff. So look for more of that. I just got to figure out good transfer windows before we get that going. If you are still here, I hope you enjoyed, and have a good one.